Well, we first met in 2004
Yeah.
when we were touring our first album. We'd mentioned in interviews that Sparks were a big influence on us, and the guys invited us for lunch in Los Angeles, and we met up and had lunch, and it was going very well.
Yeah. We had heard "Take Me Out" at the time. At that time, it might have been the only thing that was kind of available in the States, but it was one of those records and songs that really stands out, you know, and as a musician, it's really inspiring that something like that can be done in pop music and also have the effect in a mass kind of way. So, you know, it was a really great social meeting, but at the end, I'm not sure who brought it up, but somebody said we should do something together sometime, and 11 years later we did, you know.
We were both very busy at the time. We were touring our first record, and the rest of that decade was full on for us. We had another album out the following year, etc. And Sparks had records out for the whole decade as well. So we were all busy doing our own things and touring them as well, which is, you know, time consuming. And so yeah, it wasn't until we bumped into each other on the street in 2013.
Around
in San
2 years
Francisco.
ago.
Yeah, Alex bumped into Roman Russell, and then we went to the show in the evening, and then we in the dressing room afterwards having a chat, and he just came up and said, "Hey, we should actually do that collaboration we were talking about years ago."
Yeah, I mean, one thing is that it's really a unique situation. If two bands work together, they're just kind of dabbling. But in this case, it's two bands that are really forming a new band, and I think, in a general sense, both bands are really ambitious and love the form of pop songs, but want to kind of expand it as much as they can. So, you know, until we actually started the writing process, we really didn't know for sure it was going to work. But once things started flowing back and forth, everybody seemed really excited about what was moving. It was all done 6,000 miles away at that point, where, you know, things were just sent by the internet.
Yeah, and I think all the tracks were recorded live with the six of us in a room playing together. That was quite important, I think, for the energy of the record. It recorded in London as well in one quite concise block of time. It's 2.5 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So we really kind of motored through it, and I think it's that you can hear that on the album. You know, it's very kind of full of energy, fresh.
And the vocals were even done simultaneously as well. Russell and Alex would sing together, you know, and it gave it, you know, they were kind of feeding off of each other in real time, which, you know, gave a real spontaneity to the performance. The first time we actually played together in one room was the week before the recording, you know, so fortunately it seemed to work. Yeah, I mean, I suppose just because the idea of total control is something, I guess, within each band, you know, you're used to that, and to have to kind of think, well, what will somebody else think about this, maybe is kind of giving up something. But both bands were willing to kind of leave that in order to try to come up with something that was even greater than the sum of the parts.
I enjoyed it. I mean, from watching them do the vocal takes, it looked like they were having a lot of fun. You know, we all were having fun in the studio. And yeah, the way they play off each other, their voices are very different, but very strong in different areas. You know, like Alex is like baritone, and Russell's kind of falsetto. It really kind of fit together, and the way that they shared lines was quite spontaneous in the way that they were like doling them out. You sing this bit, I sing that bit, and then alternating, and yeah, there was a lot of energy.
Yeah, and it carried over just into the live shows as well. I mean, you'll see, but it just, they really feed off of each other in a live sense too. And
we've only been, we've done like 8 or 9 shows, but it's still, every show you can see it developing, and it kind of like, it's a little bit, other things happen, and it kind of, you know, it's like an evolving kind of relationship, like as the shows are going, you know, because it's still quite new for us.
Because both are kind of the primary singers within each band, and so the idea of kind of having to coordinate something with another singer, but at the same time projecting is more complex than I guess either singer is used to.
And to play off each other's performance, in a live situation is definitely a new, significantly new thing for any singer to do. Speaking from my point of view, yeah, it's like the shows it feels like a new band, so it's like it's very fresh, and it's like it feels like FFS is a new entity, and that's exciting.
We feel the same way.
Sure, I don't think that Ron can escape writing lyrics that sound like Sparks, because he's writes lyrics in Sparks.
I'm stuck with it, yeah. But it was a real collaboration, just in that on the writing front. It was done in all sorts of different ways. Some of the songs were from one side or the other side. Sometimes we would get a track from them and we would try to write a melody, and sometimes it would we'd go the other way, or lyrics would be sent and a melody was put to it. So the writing method was different for almost every song. A song like Police Encounters is kind of the most collaborative in a way, because that one, it was a track that was sent, and then we sent back with a melody and lyrics, but then another intro is added, and then the vocals were really kind of flying around each other, but in a good way. So I kind of like the collaboration is kind of most striking, I think, on that track more than
maybe that song traveled furthest over the ocean.
Yeah, it's frequent flyer miles on that one.
I mean, it's never really come up before. I can't imagine. But one of the great things about Sparks and Franz Ferdinand is that there's no crossover, apart from the singers, obviously. But instrumentally, there's no crossover. There aren't two bass players and two drummers, and Ron's keys just fit perfectly into our kind of setup. So yeah, it's quite unique, really.
And I don't think, sensibility-wise, I can't see another situation that would work this way. I mean, we didn't know 100% until we actually did it, but I can't see it working to this extent, and to where you want to put so much into it. I mean, this isn't like a little boutique project, for either band, and as far as at least from our standpoint anyway, I'm sure from the fans guys too. And so to kind of commit to that rather than just, let's come in and do a vocal on one of our songs or something, it's a big commitment. And to do a tour like this that well, for us is a long tour, but not so much for them, but it's kind of a big deal.
Very well.
Yeah.
I mean, we got from when we first met, obviously, like in 2004, and then going through a period of writing, and then when you're working in the studio with someone, that's kind of when that makes or breaks friendships, really. And then it was pretty plain sailing, really. So it's been good so far. And
just I think the reaction to what we've done is kind of inspiring, and I mean there wouldn't be friction anyway, but just knowing that the whole thing is working is kind of inspiring to everybody.
It's been enjoyable as well at shows to see a group of people in Franz Ferdinand t-shirts and a group of people in Sparks t-shirts slowly kind of become one mass over the course of the show. It's nice. Yeah.
Could be. It's also interesting, I think, for both bands, because in a way we're covering the material of the other band. It isn't 100% true to the original versions, and trying to kind of fit in with somebody else's song and style in a certain is kind of liberating in a sense, because you have your own way of doing things, and in a live sense to be able to kind of work in a different way is and to kind of see the song structures in a more kind of intimate way, where you have to learn chords that you didn't write. It's exciting.